All right, so today, team, we're going to kick off this morning section. We're going to do something that is dear to my heart. We're going to take it a little step further from Kara's amazing piece yesterday, and we're going to do this morning a piece on marketing. What's the piece on, everybody? Marketing. Okay, so let me start. I just want to get a show of hands to start with, though. Who currently is searching for more lead flow in their business? They could do with more lead flow. Okay? Is there anyone who currently is not wanting more lead flow? I don't want to handle it, it's going to blow me up, all of this type of thing. Where are you? Okay, great. So for those people, right, if this is you, if you're in that moment of I don't need any more lead flow, my request is, do you think at some point in the business in the future you possibly may need lead flow again in the future? Do you think that's quite possible, yes or no? 100% it is. So my request is, although right at this very moment in time you may not be needing leads, to still go through and be thinking and doing the critical actions on what this you might need to do in the near future. The other way to think about it too, by the way, if you've already got a whole bunch of leads coming in, is maybe do this next little piece that we're going to do on a certain type of lead flow. So although you might be having a big volume of leads coming in, you might go, I'm going to work on, are they all A-grade, high-quality leads that I've got coming into the business? Okay, so if I wanted to make them all A-grade quality leads, what would my marketing plan need to look like? Is that cool with everybody? Say yeah? Okay, awesome. So, look, one of the things I want to do when we start talking about marketing is there was a gentleman, please write this guy's name down, called Edwards Deming, D-E-N-N-I-N-G, Edwards Deming, right? Great guy to Google. So he was an American guy, an engineer. He's passed away now. Very, very smart man. And in about the 1970s, 1980s, he actually got employed or requested or recruited, whatever you want to say, by Japan. So they went and took this guy over to Japan, and he essentially was a systems guy. And he was responsible for, and is called, by the way, he's called this the godfather of quality assurance. So if you want to do work on quality assurance, this is the guy to look at. Big systems guy, but he's essentially accredited with turning Japan into the powerhouse they are today as it relates to manufacturing, systems and manufacturing, automobiles, motorbikes, all this type of thing. So one of the things that Edwards Deming did, he did a lot of studies, right? And one of the most powerful points that he said was this. And he said, with anything that you're going to do inside a business at all, the first what, everybody? The first dictates the next what? Right, so how well you do the first 15% of anything will give you your 85% probability of success. So if you think about that, if it comes to, think about that from a recruitment point of view. If I wanted to go and recruit an amazing individual, what would the first 15% of that whole process be, do you think? What type of things? Writing out a big picture document, setting what the KPI is, doing the intentions for the role, writing the plan, doing the ad, all of that, rather than just going and, recruiting my uncle's cousin's friend, right? So as it relates to marketing, if I want to get really high quality marketing leads into the business, what might be the first 15% of that particular process, do you think, team? What is it? Create a what? A marketing? Awesome. So on your desk, team, there's a little handout there. It's upside down. Could you please all grab that out and hand that around? So this is called, everybody, what's it called, everybody? Call it out with me. The 10 10-minute marketing plan, okay? Now, just for context, by the way, I can tell you that this is the exact template that we use in EBS for the entire marketing strategy within that company, okay? This is the document that we actually use for that. So this was created. Who's seen this template too, by the way? Where are you? Great. Who's never seen this before? This is brand new to you? Okay, awesome. So this was, by the way, this was developed by a gentleman called, and write this name down, J. Conrad Levinson. Okay, J. Conrad. He wrote a book, and this is the book, if you want to do some Googling, called Guerrilla Marketing. That's the name of one of his most amazing books, right? That's where this is where the template came from for this particular piece. I've never had the privilege of actually hearing J. Conrad speak in person. I know Bruiser did some study under him. I think he spoke at a conference one time as well in Ireland, I think it possibly was, Stefan, somewhere there, I think. So the template came from him, okay? So everybody cool that we run through this template this morning? Say yeah? Awesome. So we're going to start at number one. What's number one, everybody? It is the purpose, okay? The purpose. So again, if I go even more micro, the first 15% of the plan is to figure out what's the purpose of the plan, okay? So what the purpose of this is firstly to get very, very clear on what is it that you want your leads or the prospects, rather, that you're going to go and talk to, what do you want them to physically do? Okay, that's the intention here. What do we want them to do? So it might be that you want them to go and do what type of actions, do you think? Phone you, email you, walk into your shop, connect on Facebook, whatever that's going to look like, but getting really, really clear on, I should write the word purpose, shouldn't I? That would be good. Clear on what it is that you actually want them to go and do as part of your marketing. Be very, very clear on what that step is that you want them to do, okay? So around your tables, first activity, this is a quickie, 30 seconds each, 15, 20 seconds each even. What is it that you want your prospects to do as part of this marketing plan? What's the action that we're going to go and get them to do as we're working through this, okay? Start with the person on your table who knows they need the most amount of leads into their business. All right, let's go. Round we go. All right, finish up there. Okay, everybody clear on the purpose? So, for example, if you think about our business, EBS, what do you think the single action that we want people to take when we're doing marketing? We want them to register for a workshop, right? That's the action that we most want people to take. So generally when we're doing all of our planning around this, it's about how do we get someone to register for a workshop. That's the key point here, okay? So let's go on to number two. What's number two, everybody? It is your competitive advantage. This is kind of that piece here around what is it about you that really stands you out from the crowd? What's the parts that you're going to hang your hat on? What's the specific parts of how you deliver what you actually do that stands you out from the crowd? Now, there's a little thing called, what is it, everybody? The triangle of? Bit dark early in the morning, isn't it? The triangle of death. Anyway. Trying to think of something funny to say about the bar last night, being the triangle of death, couldn't it? So there's a thing called the triangle of death, right, when it comes to doing competitive advantage, and be thinking about what it is, what is it for your business, right? And generally on this, there's three parts to it, right? One area that you can have a competitive advantage in is what, everybody? Price. Another area that you could have it in is what? Service, right? And another area is also in quality, right? So what the triangle of death says, that if you aim to compete on and have a competitive advantage on all three of these areas, in other words, if your mission in your business is to have the very lowest price, provide the greatest, most amazing level of service, and have the absolute highest quality of product or service as well, that you are going to what? You are going to die, right? Okay? That's the objective. Great to do one or two, but if a business aims to do three, it becomes very, very difficult, okay, to do those three things. So be thinking here, what's the one or two that you're really latching onto in your business? What are the couple or the ones that you're really honing in on, right? Like, let's do a couple of examples of these. Let's do some easy ones. So if I said from a competitive advantage point of view, if I looked at, say, one of the big food chains like a McDonald's, for example, which ones are they latching onto? For some reason, I did not hear quality mentioned anywhere there. I don't know why, right? But is it fair to say, from a McDonald's point of view, their model that they've gone and done is they've gone to price, right? And they've also gone to speed of service. Is it fair to say that if you turn up to a drive-through or walk into McDonald's, you generally are pretty comfortable knowing what to expect there, that it's going to be quick, fast, right? Who's ever had that thought when you're off on the long distance road trip, haul, you come into town, and it's like, do I just call into the McDonald's to get a feed on the way through, or do I want to stop and sit down and wait 15 minutes for them to make a burger at the local, cafe? And you've gone, I'm just going to go to McDonald's because I know it's bloody quick and it's easy. I know it won't be as good. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's go to something else different, though. Let's go to, say a high-end car manufacturer, right? Say we went to something like Lamborghini, for example. What have they gone to here on this? Which ones are theirs? Lambo. Well, I'm going to say it's not price, but their thing would be what? Most likely be down here in quality, right? Are they too concerned about what the price is of their vehicles? Right? They're high end. They're not trying to make a Lambo and sell it for 50 grand. That's not their model, right? You might even say that their service is not even that great. Right? I googled this the other day. I've got a Lambo on my dream chart. The current wait time to get a Lamborghini at the moment, the Aventador. Like, you can't, if you've ordered one now, they won't even start manufacturing it for 20 months. Right? 20 months. Like, I'm going to say, that's pretty shit service that I've got to wait 20 months to get my car started to be built, right? Yet, they're one of the biggest places on the planet here in terms of quality, right? So, team, the question here is for you. What are you honing in onto for competitive advantage? What's the one that you're hanging your hat on out of these? Where are you going with it? Is it service? If it is service, why is it service? What about, is it speed? Is it the way that you engage? All these different things. If it's quality, what's the quality that you're latching onto? Are you going for the, I want to be the cheapest model, the Bunnings style model? Okay, is that your model? Okay. So, round your table. Actually, I'm going to do this firstly. Let's do this as some critical thinking time on your own. Okay, so take 60, 90 seconds thereabouts on your own. Write down what would you hold as your competitive advantage in your business. Okay, 60, 90 seconds on your own. Again, this is when we're doing these. Please don't interrupt the other people on your table. they'll be just right at that moment of having a breakthrough on some critical thinking, and if we go and talk to them, we'll break that train of thought. So nice quiet time, then we'll share. All right, 90 seconds. Let's go. And let's finish up there. Okay, can we get a couple of people up into the microphone? 2 people to each microphone. I'd like to hear some competitive advantage in the room. My request is, team, can we please get... certainly, I want some of the more older hands who have really nailed this to be up on the microphone sharing, the Kretzers, the Stahls, these type of people. Jono, up on the microphone, 2 on each, please. Let's go. By the way, team, this is a great thing. You know, back at school, what do they call it at school when if you leaned over and kind of looked at someone else's work, what do they call that at school? Helping. Jeez. Leverage, that's what they called it. 2 on each microphone, team. We need to, okay, that'll do us. We got 4 there, 2 there. Right, we'll do that. Okay, Hector, thank you. No more than 6 altogether. You know what they call it in business, though? They don't call it, what do they call it in business when you have a look at what somebody else is doing? Market what, everybody? Write that down. Market research, right? In business, generally, there's 2 things. You're either good at one or the other. You're either good at one of these 2 things. You're either good at market research, right, which is going and researching what other businesses are doing across the planet to have a look how they're doing it well. The other thing that you might be good at is having some what are called lateral thoughts. What are they called, everybody? Which means that you come up with the ideas yourself, right? Typically one or the other. For me, I'm a very, very good market researcher. That's where I invest my time. I love to go and do that. So, all right, let's go. Welcome again, sir. Thanks, Dan.
Hey, yeah, Wade, it's Dan from Premier People. I couldn't wait to jump up there, mate. Nikki was up here yesterday telling you about how we're shit scared to put our price up. You know, we're worried about all the stuff losing the competition, the business to the competitors. And then you put that up there, I was like, yeah, shit, we do quality in service, so why are we even worried about the price? We train our people before they go to site, so it's like if, you know, so they spend like 3 days on the tools we built like a mining training workshop, and you know, so if you're working next to a Premier People person, you know they're at a certain level, they're at a certain standard, it's safer, like, and you can trust that. So why should we be worried about putting our price up? Like, we're trying to compete with bottom of the barrel supply. We don't need to.
I love that.
That's
so
awesome.
you're saying, give him a hand, well done. So what I'm hearing, Dan, too, by the way, is you're telling me that your people are essentially more efficient and more qualified.
That's right. 50%
love
of
that.
the service that we do is that TA, sort of
Yeah.
like entry level. 50% of our revenues come from that this year, just about, and no, probably more actually. And they've all gone through how many, Nikki? That many? Well, about 73%. Sorry. Has been that, and they've all gone through that training, and you know,
Love it.
We've not had a single injury from any of those guys this year.
Very good. Thank you, Dan. Well done. Yes, ma'am. Who are you? What's your business? Where are you from?
Bryony Accelerate Off-Grid Touring in Maroochydore. So a bit of a backstory. We coached with Wade about 12 years ago, and Andrew going from an hourly rate of, I think it was like $77 an hour to $88, and you're convincing him to do that. He was packing it. And now we just increase prices pretty much every 12 months without even thinking about it. And if someone asks us our hourly rate, we'll happily let them know that they're probably not the right customer for us. So we really focus on quality and service. And my statement would be the right advice to get you set up for off-grid touring with peace of mind that when you are in a remote location, you can power all your devices with no issues.
Love that. Give Bryony a hand. Well done. Very, very nice. Thank you. Yes, sir. I love that. What do you call that?
To me?
What do you call that? What is that a,
Yeah, that's a South American hat, all right. Relax.
what's that called?
Boina.
A boina.
That's correct.
I love that. I need one of them to keep my head warm.
I can get you one organized. Very, very woolly one.
Thank you, sir. Who are you? Where are you from? What's your business?
All right, my name is Hector, holistic health coach. Myself and my wife, amazing wifey, Carlene, somewhere there. Well, basically, we're 100% all about the results, the quality, and the best service that we can provide. And a bit of a story, been with Brusa for 4 years. We come in with an idea of moving from Darwin in 8 years' time. We done it in 2.5 years, so pretty happy. Living the dream in the sunny coast. Back into the business, we have gone above and beyond education. When we were already very, very busy with our work, we knew still more that we can do to offer to our customers. So, as silly enough, the investment for knowledge, when it's not in Darwin, keep flying over here or Sydney or overseas USA, got us to a point now that this time, if the customer is asking for the cost, it's probably not the right one for us, because we can achieve on most customers what they haven't done in 10, 12 years in around 6 to 8 months.
Wow.
So the amount of time and effort and energy saving is huge.
Love that. And well done to you too, Hector and Carlene, on your move all the way down. So give them a big
Thank you
hand.
very
Well
much.
done. Very good. So quality. And Hector said something important too, which was just, he spoke about outcome. Did you hear how he just qualified the outcome? I'm like, you can get me in 6 months what someone else gets me in 6 years. I'll put that to the test, mate. That is for sure. I love that. Yes. Is there a disclaimer on that, Hector? Jump on that microphone. I don't need a microphone. Okay. Microphone, Hector.
All right, you right now? Yeah. Okay, so basically, guys, what we get so many times is customers that they have some issues, but the health and well-being, apparently bullshit that we've been fed forever, is only about working on the side effects, not on what caused the issue. So the solution is not always more painkillers, more drugs, or keep wrapping, tying yourself up to be able to move.
Got it.
So it's going back to basics and live life to the fullness.
Love it. Thank you again. Give him another hand. Yes, sir. Welcome.
G'day.
Over to you, Brent.
Yeah, morning team. Brent from G&M Craftsman Cabinets on the coast here. The triangle of death I used to struggle with quite a fair bit when I first took over the business 6 years ago. The pricing I used to always beat myself down about, because we've always been really high quality and really high service. But I think the sales process, once I learnt that and I had almost 100% conversion rate on that, price usually gets eliminated pretty quick as soon as you educate people like Hector as to what the quality and the service is. Once you get the snowball rolling on that, it's almost impossible to stop.
I love that. So you were always tight on quality and service, and then you were trying to compress the price as well. So
Correct.
it was actually all three. So you did what Dan just did and went, let's just let that go where it needs to go to.
Yeah, and we raised our price. We used to bill out at 80 an hour, and we're up at 120 an hour per person, and without batting an eyelid. When we've got a loyal list of builders and other people who we use the sales process on, it's like next to 100% conversion rate.
Love that. Well done. Give him a hand. Thanks, Brent. Hello, sir.
G'day, Wado. My name's Ben from Lighthall Trailers. We build horse floats. For us, since taking over the business last 2 years, we've put our prices up 50%. And we're just quality. We have people come to us from Northern Territory going, we want a trailer that can handle the roads, that will last 20 years. So we come to you. So price is not a question.
Love that. Do you guarantee?
We don't guarantee. We give 5 years on the frame, the welded frame, but we see them come back after 13 years and they're in great condition still. So
Love that. So you're all about this one right here.
yeah.
High quality.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Give him a hand. Well done. Hello, Smithy.
Yeah, g'day mate. Smithy, Outback Aussie Tours Longreach. We bring quality and service together into experiences, facilitating a depth and connection of the natural and human spirit with a strong feeling of our region where passion and storytelling are the delivery point of difference.
Everyone's like, I need Smithy on my table at the next section. So which is it for you, mate? If you were to hone in on one, where's Outback Aussie Tours kind of focused on here?
I think it's on the service side of quality
Yeah.
because it's full-on service, but you've got to have a quality conversation.
Yeah. Are you the cheapest out there?
No way.
There you go.
And we battle with that because we're in a price-sensitive environment like a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we need to be justified, but we've got to really continue looking at the numbers because sometimes we might overcharge without truly knowing our numbers. So it's keeping in touch with those numbers, which is a big learning journey for us right now.
Awesome. Give him a hand. Well done, Smithy. Thank you. All right, we're going to keep moving. We're going to go on to number 3 now. Which number 3 is our what, everybody? Our target market. So we're going to start drilling down into, now we know the competitive advantage, who is it that is our ideal client here? Now to explain this, a few of you would have seen this, and I love this explanation, right? It's interesting. That can go out, team. Often, who's ever done this when it's like, well, who's my ideal target market? And everyone's kind of gone, has anyone ever done this? Like, you know, heartbeat in a wallet type of thing. Who's ever done that level of thinking, right? So there's a river, and Bruce's dad, I spent a lot of time with him, and he used to talk about a river out in Western Queensland called the, what is it, everybody? Called the Paroo River, right? And if anybody knows of the Paroo River out there, it is very, very wide and a very, very shallow river, extremely wide river, right? And Bruce's old man Ferg used to say that if a dog cocked its leg in the Paroo, it would flood, right? It was that shallow, right? There's also another river over in America called the what, everybody? Called the Colorado River. Okay, it's a very, very different shaped river. It's very, very narrow and very, very what? Very, very deep. So deep that it's carved out over the years. What's the thing that it's gone and carved out in the US? The Grand Canyon, right? So as this relates to target market, my question to you is, when you start looking at your ideal client, who you want to actually go and speak to, your preferred ideal scene person that you're working with, how clear are we? Are we doing a bit of a Paroo style thinking on this one, where it's like, I want everybody in the, you know, if they have a heartbeat and a wallet, if they certainly, you know, buy that service at all, or are you more doing that deeper level of thinking around Colorado River and really getting into niching, okay? So the sentence that I like to say on this one, please write this one down, is, if I am trying to talk to everybody, I am connecting with no one. If I'm trying to talk to everybody, I'm connecting with no one, okay? So when it comes to doing target market, I'm a big fan of categorizing, right? And you can categorize in any categories you like. but I'll tell you some of my favourites. So if I'm going to go deep on target market, I might categorise my target audience or even my ideal clients into A, B, C's and D's, for example. Some of the things that I like to look at, like when I'm categorising, I look at who do I get my best GP dollars from, my best GP percentage from, and know, well, let's start putting that in the list. What services do they buy? Which service gives me the most amount of money back, the most amount of margin back, right? I also like looking at AR, accounts receivable, which are the ones that get me the cash in the door the quickest. I know when I had my civil construction business, we used to do, we built power substations, right, out in the middle of Queensland. We did a lot of them out there. And we also did, and most of that work that we did, by the way, was for the state government, okay, through Ergon, Energex, these type of places. And the one thing that they could be very, very counted on for was they always, paid their every single time, on time, to the day, no problems whatsoever. We also did some private work as well through other private companies. Do you think they could be as counted on to pay on time every time, yes or no? No. So our A grade here were the government style work. The other style work down here was a little bit, they were my C's and D's, right? I used to also I talk about, when I do this, I look at leverage, right? How leveraged is that particular service? How much time does it consume? For me, other resources in the business. I also put on one called, it's a bit of slang. Can everyone see that? Brain damage. Anybody got some clients that give them some brain damage? Come on. You know what I'm talking about? I was talking to somebody the other day and they're like, we put a tax on it for those type of people. They had a tax. So the brain damage tax. They actually called it something different to brain damage tax, I can tell you. So team, I want to do a little bit of work on target market, target customers. So can everybody please, you should just have a handout that's just been passed to you called target customers, okay? So I want to do some thinking here and go deep on who it is that you're actually targeting, your ideal scene, okay? So you can choose whatever categories you want when you're doing it, but there has to be some level of thinking around it, okay? So the question that we're going to do for the next 2-3 minutes, this is again an individual activity, is question number 2. What number, everyone? 2, which says if I could devote 100% of my time to just one type of customer, who specifically would it be? What do they look like? So what am I looking for here, team? Am I looking for a Paru style answer or a Colorado style answer? Colorado style answer, okay? So let's go to work, 2-3 minutes on your own. Ideal scene, who is your top client prospect that we want to go and target here? Be as detailed as you can. Demographic, geographic, all these things. Let's go, 2 people on each microphone. Some of the dudes that have got you're very clear on this one, I want to hear from you. Some of the older hands, Lawlers, Fressers, come on. I know who you are, let's go. 6 people max. Thank you, Craig. Welcome, sir. Who are you? What's your business? Where are you from?
Wado, I'm Craig from Sabtool. We supply the mechanical industry. Target market, so we're after general mechanical workshops, not specific like performance workshops or auto electrical or anything like that, but general mechanical. Located in a densely populated area with a high car count, 25 and over, the operators. High I or D profile. Mum and dad owned workshop, family people, not single. Non-franchise workshops, so not an Ultratune or a Goodyear, etc. Although there are some exceptions to the rule in the room, Aaron. 2 to 7 hoists, clean workshop, not grubby, and there's a waiting room. The owner spends a reasonable portion of their time on the front counter. They're a Capricorn member. They've been in business for 18 months to 2 years minimum.
Paru or Colorado, do you think? Definitely Colorado. Well done, Craig. Great example. Thank you, sir. Give him a big hand. Yes, ma'am. Who are you? What's your business? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm Margaret from Macrosphere. We actually deal with schools and government. We do performing arts building and entertainment venues in all of Queensland. We have a very limited market to where we go to. It is more so government schools and government local councils. So we have a very strict way we have to present to them because of the Procurement Act of Queensland. But we have very much identified that the business manager is the person in the school that purchases the equipment, and in the local government it is actually the facility officer and the CEO. So in those areas we really look at how we present ourselves and giving them the confidence that we've got a detailed quote, we are very compliant, and we are meeting all the resources that they require. That's how we have to present to our client base, and it's very limited. So we are platinum sponsors of their associations,
Okay.
both of local government and of these business managers of schools.
So you said schools, like Queensland state schools. Did I hear you say government
Yeah.
schools?
Queensland State School is my biggest percentage of
What
market.
size? What size?
All. I have schools that have got 4 students to schools that have
Okay,
got
so
3,000.
size is not one.
No.
Location.
Queensland-wide. I have 2 offices in Brisbane and Mackay to cover that, but that is
Which
one
is your most profitable one to go to? Ideal scene.
of what?
Yeah, if you could
company?
pick one, I only want to deal with state schools, public schools in Brisbane because of this size, because they're the ones I make the most money on. Which ones would it be?
No, let's change that and go to regional.
So okay, we'll get
My marketing and especially is in regional and remote schools,
okay.
and I get a better profit margin when I'm outside the southeast Queensland, and I get a better dollar value in regional schools. In the southeast Queensland, there is too much of the one-man van scenario with the lower margins.
Okay.
We sell on quality and service. A lot of our references come from the intranet of the Department of Education as our references of who does what in the industry. And I have to say I'm known for being the most expensive in the industry, and
Very
I'm not
good.
changing that.
So Margaret, I'm going to, even though the state schools thing is still a target market,
Yes.
I'm saying I want a little bit more Colorado on that one still. So even you've just given me a distinction that if I was going to market, you've just told me regional is more profitable for you.
Oh, I can give you down to
Very good.
high schools, primary schools, and also independent schools, alternative schools, Indigenous schools.
Love it. So we can get even, there's all these little kind of channels that are
Yes.
very specific.
And different markets get different marketing material for different products that they would need in those areas.
Very good. Give her a hand. Thank you, Margaret. Well done. Yes, sir. Who are you? What's your business? Where are you from?
G'day, I'm David from Asset Accounting down at Dicky Beach here on the Sunshine Coast. I'm a wealth accountant, and we look after small businesses.
Right. What's the target market?
Well, they're hard to find. My best client are entrepreneurs, people who are high wealth. They pay a lot of
You're in the right
tax.
room so far.
I know. If anyone could show me where I could find a room full of these people. Yeah, so we like people with a lot of entities, people with a long-term view, people interested in superannuation and building wealth over a long period and paying as little tax as possible.
How much wealth do I have to have, David?
You can start at any level. It's more about these people.
Ideal scene. You want me to have,
Ideal.
do I need $5 in my bank or do I need to have $1 million of wealth?
No, we need to have a couple of $100,000 of taxable income each year. The
Okay.
more tax you pay, the more value I can add.
Okay, so I need to be earning, how much do I need to earn? 200 grand a year?
Yeah, 200 puts you in the top tax bracket, so I can do some work with that.
Okay, so ideal scene 200, and my net worth needs to be how much?
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
Doesn't matter. The more, the better.
so what's an entrepreneur? Just define that for me.
Somebody who is involved in business, who likes to grow business and is looking for business opportunities or income producing and wealth building activities.
So I'm a business owner or an employee?
Business owner.
Business owner.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So my point here, David, is we're still a little bit paru for my liking on this niche, right? I'm going, get me right down to the specifics on this one. How many dollars do I need to earn? What am I earning? If I'm a business owner, what type of business am I owning? Right? So the more specific. By the way, can you have different target markets too, team? Yes or no? 100% we can. Okay. Good?
Okay.
Love it. Give him a hand. Well done.
you.
Thanks, David. Yes, ma'am. Who are you? Oh, we know who you are. You've spoken.
What do you mean you know who I am?
That's it.
So my name's Erica. I was up yesterday. I make linen for childcare centres and caravans. With this one, I just want to talk about the caravans. So our target market at the moment, we actually do no sales at the moment. We've got so many orders coming in. We're one of those companies that actively tries not to have orders. I know it sounds funny. It's got to do with fabric coming in. But what I'm in the process now of wanting to build a marketing plan. Currently with our Drifted Off, it is females aged between 35 and 65. They own a caravan. They want sheets that fit. That's the number one thing that we always get asked is, will they fit? Caravan beds have curved corners. They're shorter, they're narrower, they're not as thick. There's lots and lots of distinctions between a caravan mattress and a mattress you have at home. They want ease of use, so we do a few things with our sheets to make it easier for them to use. And they like to have sheets that match, so they want it to match the decor of their caravans, or maybe they want them darker so that the men don't put their dirty feet on them and make them dirty. When it comes to the caravan camping, we have wondered whether we should be targeting the actual caravan manufacturers. Wade will know this because we talked to him about that. Or whether we should just be targeting the people who own them. The places where we find them mainly is Facebook groups, caravan you could find them in caravan parks, you could find them in free camps, you could find them in the over 55. So a lot of the people who buy from us are older people. They live in these over 55 communities and they talk to each other a lot and recommend us through to other people. And I was thinking that maybe we could join caravan groups on Facebook and stuff like that.
Well, we'll get to strategies in a second. Let's stay on market.
So that was my market.
So I love that, Erica. My request of you too is to get very specific on, I'm still confused, like a caravan owner.
Yes.
Right, like if I'm going to target a caravan owner, how old can caravan owners be, by the way?
Most of our, from our...
Oh, hang on, what's my answer to my question?
35 to 65. So
I didn't hear anything about age in your target market.
I did the first one. They're female and they're 35 to 65.
Right, okay, I apologise for that.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'd also go to what do they do?
Okay.
So if we're going to, where they're hanging out, all of these different parts, so if I want to go and market to them, where are they? Are they still working? Are they retired? Where are they? Okay. Right. Love that. You're very clear on it, though. Give Erica a hand. Audio team, we've got one more on each microphone, so you can decide who get in a fight, go for it, punch up. My apologies. We have to keep moving. Thank you for still standing up, though. Lewis, welcome.
Thank you. So we do car detailing. So mine's middle-class families, aged 30 to 50, with one spouse being a tradie, with a family income of 100 to 200K. And places they hang out would be parks, markets, Strand, which is our beachfront, shopping centres, and also high-risk places for parking fines.
That's interesting.
There's a bit of a story behind that, but
That's all right. We'll keep that for morning tea.
It's not a story; it's a marketing plan, I guess. But yeah.
Okay. You want to share it?
Yeah, if you want.
Is it quick?
I think it's pretty cool.
Quick was my question. Is it quick?
Yeah.
Roger, go for it.
So basically, what we do is where people are in high-risk areas are getting parking fines. We've actually copied the Townsville City Council parking fine thing to actually meet our business. Have a barcode on there that they can click on and put book now, and it sends us to our Facebook page. So it's a bit of psychology where people they think they got a parking ticket, but then they find out they can get a detail or something with it. And so.
That's right. Yeah. Give him a hand. That's guerrilla marketing right there, 101. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
So we've got two target markets. The first one is 25 to 45-year-old female parents of low to medium different abilities, children aged 18 months to 8 years with access to NDIS funding that reside within a 100k radius of our swim school. The second one is 25 to 45-year-old female parents with 18 months to 3-year-old children who are time poor, results driven, and come from a medium-high socio-demographic living within 50k's of our
Love that. Thank you, Kim. Very specific. Give her a hand. Well done. All right, so team, again, please write that little statement down. Generalisations kill clarity. Please write that. Generalisations kill clarity. If we're not specific, they won't show up. It's like writing on a dream chart, I want to be wealthy. Okay, we're going to go to number 4. Which number 4 is what, everybody? Called marketing. Weapons. Marketing what, everybody? Weapons. I love his language around this, Jay Conrad, how he calls them weapons, kind of goes with the whole guerrilla theme. If you understand, it's not gorillas as in gorillas in the mist. When he wrote that book, it's gorillas as in guerrilla warfare. That's how he perceived it, right? So a couple little principles on this one when we're talking about marketing weapons. I want to start by talking about a little principle called this. What does this say, everybody? 10 by what? 10 by 10. So what a 10 by 10 is this is a, please understand, this is a marketing theory, right? This is a theory. And what it says is 10 different lead generation strategies, right? Each bringing in 10% of my lead flow. Okay, 10 different strategies, each bringing in 10% of my lead flow. By the way, do you think I've ever seen that work out that perfectly in a business, yes or no? I've never seen it in my whole entire, 16 years of coaching, exactly 10 by 10. But what I want you to hone in on here is, what are your current marketing strategies? See, you mightn't have a 10 by 10, right? You might have a 4 by what? You might have a 4 by 25 where you've got 4 marketing strategies that you're hoping each bring in 25% of your lead flow. Heck, you might even have a 1 by, what is it? You might have a 1 by 100. That might be your choice. Right, but what I'm saying here is to be, by the way, quickly ran your tables, right? What would be the advantages and disadvantages of having either a 10 by 10 or a 1 by 100? What are some of the risks and some of the benefits of having either one of those marketing strategies? Round your tables, 60 seconds, nice and quick. Round your tables, let's go. What's the advantages and risks? What's some of the risks or benefits? I'm just going to get people to call this out. Hands up, what do you got? Yes, ma'am? If social media falls over. If the metaverse shuts down, we're gone. That's the end of that if we had a 1 by 100 strategy. Great. Anyone else got anything else to add? Yes, ma'am. 10's a lot. So 10 up here is a lot to manage, right? Lot to do, right? Okay, great. Anyone else? Yes, sir. No comparison if I've only got one. There's no little other part that you can go and look at, right? So team, the thing for me on this one is I'm not going to... I don't hold judgment on what your strategy is on this one, right? But what I do want to say is that if you had to the point of a couple of people around the room, if you've got say you've got a 4 by 25, that's your current marketing niche, you've got 4 strategies. If one of your strategies does not work in any particular month, what happens to your lead flow? Does it get hurt a little bit, yes or no? It gets hurt a little bit, right? Okay, so that's the risk that you're doing, right? If I've got a 1 by 100, now I'm not saying that you can't do that. In fact, one of the early clients that I coached, I spoke briefly about them yesterday, the fitness business, right, where they went and leveraged and put all their stuff online. They hold a 1 by 100. That's what they do. Right now, all they do, they sell a course for $60, cost them $30 to buy that customer. Right? They spend $30 on advertising on Facebook, make $60, right? This year, they'll spend a little over $2 million on Facebook advertising, right? But they've got a 1 by 100. They're very, very aware of the risks, though, so what do with their money? They take it out and go and put it into other income-producing assets that are less risky. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay? So, quick little activity here, team, on this one. What are your current marketing strategies that you're doing and what else should you do? Could we put that slide up too? Thanks, Ock. If you want some ideas, this here is a list of different lead generation strategies, a list that we went and put together quite a few years ago. So if you're stuck for ideas and go, hey, maybe I need to be doing something else, there's some ideas up on the board for you, okay? So 2-3 minutes as it relates to this particular marketing plan we're doing for this target market. What are your lead generation strategies? What are your marketing weapons that you are doing? All right, everybody, 2-3 minutes. Let's go. And let's finish up there. So just quickly want to drill in on 2 particular strategies. By the way, where's Paul Kretzers? Is he in the room? Where is he? How many lead generation strategies you got? Yell the number out for me. How many? 8? Thank you. You weren't getting on the microphone to tell anyone, so I just had to yell out to you. Two little strategies, team, that I want to quickly hone in on to. Did anyone have either one of these on their list, host, beneficiary, or strategic alliance? Where are you? Okay, so I love these 2 strategies, right? And I specifically want to cover them today in this room for a certain purpose, right? So what a host? The difference between a host beneficiary and a strategic. Who's never heard of these terms, by the way? Anyone never heard of the terms? Okay, so. Essentially, a host beneficiary and strategic alliance happens when 2 businesses start doing some type of work together, right? So the way that I look at it in terms of how I distinguish between the difference, if we were to put this into slang, 2 businesses, if they were doing a host beneficiary together, they would be what, everybody? Dating, right? Got a couple of people excited down the front of the room. Interesting. But if we're in a strategic alliance, we wouldn't be dating. We'd actually be what? Right? We'd be married. That's the difference between the 2 strategies. So an example of a host beneficiary is someone might have a database where they've got a database of people that are your ideal target market, right? So you go over to that host and you say something like, could I do an offer to your database that's going to write these two words down, that's going to add value, that's the words, write that down, that's going to add value to your database, right? So it might be you go and put in our world, we'd go and put a workshop on for someone and teach them a few little things. You might offer them a voucher or something along these lines to one of your services. But the host, the benefit to the host is they get the kudos points on doing that. Now, it could be a paid service, a sponsorship style model or not. In a strategic alliance, it's more not one way, it's which way? Two ways, right? If I was to draw this up and actually have a look at what this looks like, just so you're very, very clear on this particular strategy. If this here if this is you right here, okay, if that's that's you right here. And down the bottom here are all your target market. These are all the people that you're wanting to go and talk to, your ideal scene, target audience, right? One pathway that you can do is you can go out and do a whole bunch of, you can go onto Facebook, you can go and do different types of advertising, all these different things, and we can go out and target these people one at a time. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay? Another pathway that you can use is we go over here and we find a strategic alliance or a host who has already got these exact same target market and they're already doing what? Trading with these people, right? So they've got the same target market and these people are in actual fact already buying from those people. Does that make sense so far? Right? And in that instance, rather than me having to go out and make relationships with a whole bunch of people, how many relationships do I actually need to go and make? Just one relationship right there. This is the power of strategic alliance and host beneficiary, is I can go and make one amazingly tight relationship and then go in and they get to market to the database. You can do a reverse host beneficiary, right, where I could be this person. I could go and say to you, hey, I want to give a gift to all of my customers. Could you please give me something that I can go and give to my customers because I want to give them something, right? You know, how excited would another business be if you went and saw them and said, could I please get an offer from your business that I can give to my database as added value? How excited would that person right there be? Very or little? Very, very excited, okay? So my question here on this one is, team, is, by the way, how many, think about this room, right? Do you have to have, please write this down, a win-win type of attitude to do alliances and host beneficiaries, yes or no? Is this room a win-win room? Right? Let me ask you another question. How many, if I took everybody's databases and added them up, how many people might be on the databases in this room, do you think? What do you think? It would be an astronomical number, right? So one of the things I want to challenge you with here is there's a thing called synergy in business, which is where if you add one thing together and another thing together, the outcome is greater than just those two individual parts. Does that make sense? In other words, if I add one together and one together, I get three or more, right? This here I'm going to suggest is, do you think that there's some other people in the room who currently have your ideal target market on their database, yes or no? Hello? You betcha there is. Yet when I just said put your hand up who's doing strategic alliances, there was like 6 hands up in the room. Okay? You could do, if I said to you, you can do nothing other than set strategic alliances up with people in this room that are going to work from a win-win perspective, right? That's the only way you can grow your business. What would you do? All right. All right. I'm going to leave you with that thought on that one, okay? So please write down, if you are not doing strategic alliance and host beneficiaries, they are amazing things. Talk to your coach about how to set those up. They are great things, okay? Please write it down on an action point. All right, let's keep going. Couple more to get through. Okay, number 5 on the marketing plan team is niche or what? Unique selling point proposition, USP. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one, but this is one of the questions that I get asked is, what's the difference between a competitive advantage and a USP? Right? What's the difference there? And the simplest analogy that I have is I'm going to use M&M's chocolate. Right? Everyone knows M&M's chocolate. So their competitive advantage, actually what is amazing about them, is the specific silicone coating that surrounds the chocolate, right? Made from sand, that surrounds the chocolate, that actually prevents it from melting until it actually goes into your mouth. That's actually their competitive advantage over other chocolate manufacturers and candy providers. Does that make sense? Okay. So how they present that as a USP, in other words, what do they take to the market with it? Because it's not super sexy to say our chocolates are coated in silicon, right? What do they actually take to the market is chocolate that melts in your, not your, right? That's how they go and present that as a USP to the market. So the question on this one, this is about how you're going to go and communicate whatever you put as your competitive advantage to the marketplace. This is where the rubber's now hitting the road, right? Okay. That's USP. So do some thinking on USP. There's a great, by the way, if you want to do some heavy lifting on this one in the portal, for those that have access to the portal, there's a USP questionnaire that you can do in there. All right, let's keep going. There's one more big one that I want to get to. Number 6 team is what, everybody? The identity. So now we're getting to, how do you want the business to be recognised? What do you want it to look like? What's the clothing look like in the business? Like when someone sees it, do they instantly recognise, man, that they're part of that organisation, right? Like if you see certain airlines and you see the way they're dressed, or there's different businesses on the planet where you instantly see them and go, man, they're part of what? That organisation. Does that make sense? So my question is, what do you do on that part? Branding, vehicles, all these different things. We even do it inside this business, right? There's little clothing things that we do in here. You will notice that if you're a business coach, we wear cufflinks, right? French cuff shirts, cufflinks, whites, jeans, and we can choose whatever tailored jacket that we get from the tailor overseas. So that's part of the privilege of being a business coach here. You get your own tailored jacket in a fabric of your choice. That's part of the uniqueness and the brand that we want. But to get to, you have to be a business coach to wear French cuffs. Right? It's like a little stature thing as well as part of the identity of the business. Does that make sense? So I'm like, what are you doing? So what do you need to do on the identity front to really get this, to make sure that when someone sees you, they go, man, I understand where that person's from. Are we doing enough in that space? Okay, number 7. What's number 7 there, everybody? Percentage marketing. Percentage marketing what? Spend, right? Percentage marketing spend. So I just want to spend a little bit of time on this one. So I want to be clear on this one. You can hand them out, Deepak, thank you. In my world, team, in Wade's world, right, Wade's World. Party time! Excellent. In Wade's World, marketing is, please write this down, it's our ability to what? Ability to buy a customer, right? Marketing is all about our ability to buy a customer, right? If we're not there to buy a customer, I'm going to tell you it's called branding. That's my distinction, how I view it in Wade's World, right? Marketing is our ability to go out and purchase a customer, right? And you might look at it might not be customers, you can also look at it as in cost to buy a lead also. It doesn't have to just be a customer, but it could be the cost to buy a lead. Right? So there's a couple of things. If I wanted to know my cost to buy a lead, what are the two bits of information that I need to track, everybody? What are they? One, how much I'm spending on it, and two, where are my leads coming from, right? Which is why I love when I go into a business and I hear the business, someone say to me, you know, sir, how did you hear about us? I'm like, great, they're testing their lead generation, or it's on a chick box or any of those type of things. By the way, our ability or our cost to buy a lead or customer in business, what do we call that, everyone? What's it called? Our acquisition cost. Please write that down. Acquisition cost. Thank you. Our cost to acquire. How much does it cost to acquire a lead or a customer? Okay, so I need to know this particular number. Let me do an example here for you. Let's say I'm let's do a painter, a trade. Let's say I spend $500 on doing a Facebook ad, right? And I'm a painter, and I go and get 5 jobs from that ad. I secure 5 sales from that ad. What's my acquisition cost per customer? Somebody? $100. Okay? Let me ask you, is that a good marketing strategy? Yes or no? Is it? What do you think? Is it yes or no? I want to know. Who'd do this? Some people are like, yes, no. What do you want to know? So bloody demanding, you people. You want more information. You want more information, is that what you're asking? Okay, I'll give you more information. What if we did off every job that the painter did, if he made $1,000 gross profit off every job, is that now a good marketing strategy, yes or no? Who would run that marketing strategy? Would anybody not run the marketing strategy? Who would not do this particular strategy? Be honest. Here comes all my high C's firing questions at me, all the critical thinkers, high criticality, right? But I want you to get this piece, team, right? If this is your, theoretically, right, really hone in on this, okay? Don't do the brain damage of can I deliver, do my utilisation and all this type of stuff. Don't do all that thinking. That's for operational down the track, right? But as it relates to this, right, who would put in $100 to get $1,000 back out? Yes or no? Who'd do that? Right? There's a teller machine on the wall that says, put in 100, get out 1,000. Who'd do that? How often would you put $100 in the teller machine? How often? Didn't you? You as quick as you can. The smart people would pay somebody else to stand there doing it for you, right? Leverage, okay? So this is the point around acquisition cost, right? That have a think about this too, right? Got $100, turned it into 1,000. Let's say this. Let's say it took this painter 1 month to actually do those 5 jobs, right? So in 1 month, like they turn $1,000 into $100 into 1,000, 500 into $5,000 in a month, right? Could they go and repeat this every month? Right? What return is that on your money too, by the way? 100 to 1,000. What's that? What percentage return? It's like, I think it's 900,000, I don't know, whichever way you look at it. It's like 1,000% return on your money. Okay? If you did that every month, that's 12,000% return on your $100 over the course of a year. Is that a good return, yes or no? If I took that $100 and put it into a bank account, what would be my percentage return over the year? What's the current interest rate? What is it? It's like nothing. It's under 1%, right? So I could put it in the bank and get under 1%, versus I can go and do this, if this was true, this strategy, and get 12,000% return on my money, right? This is this is how you turn, please write this down, you turn marketing goes from becoming an expense to becoming a investment. Accountants in the room, they will go from an ADO point of view, marketing is an expense. In my world, marketing is an investment. By the way, if I want to do this, do I need to know these 2 numbers, yes or no? Okay? I coached back 15 years ago on this one. I coached a retail, like an outdoor leisure centre business here on the coast. And I remember when we first started, I walked in and said to them, guys, you know, we're talking about a few different things and we're looking at growing margin and sales. So I asked them this question first, and I said, what's your most profitable product that you sell? Right? Good question to ask too, by the way. What's your most profitable product or service you sell? And they said, Wade, it's really easy. We know what that is. It's these great big ass outdoor spas, right? These big 8, 10-seater outdoor spas, right? Biggest margin product in the business. I'm like, great, we're going to go and sell a whole bunch more of these big ass spas, right? What do you think my next question was to him? Who buys them, right? What do you think the guy said to that too, by the way? I don't know, right? Said, well, why don't we go and do something really smart? Please write this down. Why don't we go and survey our customers and actually find out a little bit of information about them, right? So we did this. We set a little survey up, and every single time someone come in to inquire or buy for a big-ass spa, we would ask them, you know, hey, Mary, hey, Bob, would it be okay if we asked you a couple of quick questions? It's just going to take 60 seconds. It'll really support the business, right? 100% of people are like, yes, no problem. So we go and ask these questions. Now, you don't always get this lucky, but in this particular instance, we got extremely lucky, right? So lucky, in fact, that more than 70% of people did exactly the same thing in the prior 3 months before walking in to inquire or buy a big-ass spa. 70% of people, right? What do you think it was too, by the way? I heard someone say it over here. What was it? They bought a house. More than 70% of people in the previous 3 months had bought a house, right? So here we are going, great, we've identified our target market, let's go to marketing weapons. I wonder, who do we know who deals with people that buy houses? Who? Real estate agents, right? So we go around to all the real estate agents in the region. We say to the real estate agents, hey guys, do you give gifts to your purchasers when they purchase a home? Some said no. We said, well, you bloody well should. Some said yes. And we said to them, how would you like it if we gave you a $500 gift, right, that you could go and give to all of your purchasers you can go and give to all of your purchasers. You can give away, we give it to you, you give it to them. It's a gift from you to them. You don't have to pay us anything for it. It's going to make you look amazing, right? 100% of people said what? 100%, you bet. Here's the question. What did we give them? What did we give them? A $500 gift voucher to a big-ass. Important question. Where did the $500 come from? How did we come up with $500, not $200, not $1,000? Why was it $500? It was a thing called what type of acquisition cost was it, everybody? Our allowable acquisition cost. In other words, that's what the business was prepared to spend to buy a customer. In that instance, they were happy to spend $500 to buy a customer. So my question to you is, what is your allowable acquisition cost per customer? How much are you happy to spend to buy one? Interestingly, in that instance, by the way, when did the business spend the $500? Only if they bought it, right? So that's actually called a fixed allowable acquisition cost. It's kind of the holy grail of marketing, right? Where you only pay it if they buy. So team, on your desk you've got a piece of paper, an acquisition cost sheet. Can everybody grab one of those? Could I just have one up the front too, team, please? Thank you. You got a spare one? Thanks, Kurt. We're good. So team, the first little activity here I'm going to get you to do, this is a 60-second activity, this is how I work out my allowable acquisition cost on any target market. So the first thing that I need to know is what's the average dollar sales. So how much on average does the customer pay in that transaction? What's my cost of goods sold? How much does it cost for me to deliver that particular one? Service, material, labour, all of this type of stuff, materials. And what's my gross profit that's left over? And then your allowable acquisition cost is how much of that are you willing to go and spend to buy that customer? Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, so this is a single transaction. So first type of acquisition cost is if you're happy to spend that to buy a single transaction. Does that make sense? Okay. The second area to look at is you might choose that, because in some instances, who's got people that transact with them multiple times, right? Who's got people that do not transact with them multiple times? You're more of a one-shot type thing. Okay, so if you're more of a one-shot wonder, you're really honing in on this one. But there's another one down the bottom. What's the bottom type of acquisition cost called, everybody? Investment acquisition cost. So investment acquisition cost is where we don't just look at a single transaction, we actually look at the lifetime of that particular business, right? In this example on this sheet of paper here, this is an air conditioning cleaning business. This guy's up in Cairns. So he makes 50%, right, GP on any clean. He's $120 a clean for a domestic. So he's happy, if he only did that once, he's only happy to spend $6. Can you see that? Right, on your sheet of paper, can everybody see that? Now, by the way, if anyone ever asks me for a benchmark, Wade, what should my percentage be? My rule of thumb generally is I don't like to spend more than sort of 5-10% of GP. Okay, it does depend upon the business that you're in, granted. But for me, I'm kind of about 5-10% of GP type of guy. Okay? Bit different if I'm completely online. I might spend a little bit more, like my fitness guys, they spend 50%. Investment though, if I then dial that down, their average lifetime here is they get 12 cleans out of an average client in this example. So their lifetime gross profit is $720. So still doing 10%. They're happy to actually spend $72 to buy a customer. Does that make sense, everyone? Right? Do they make money or lose money on the first transaction in this example? They lose money. Costs them $72 to buy them, but they only get $60 in GP back. Right? So you've got to do some cash flow analysis on this one. So my request team on this one is to do some thinking around acquisition cost and bring back to the table what is the exact acquisition cost that you're happy to spend to go and buy a customer. Does that make sense? Okay, 30 seconds each round your table. What have you just learnt about acquisition cost? Start with the person who needs to do the most work on this particular piece of paper. Let's go, 30 seconds each. Acquisition cost. Okay, very last point, team, on the marketing plan. The last part of the first 15% when it comes to growing and getting leads is what? Now, by the way, this is not on the 10-minute marketing plan. So this is where Jay Conrad stopped. He stopped at point 7. And then we went off and had a good old think. Bruiser had a good old think about this and went, hang on, I think we're missing something, which is when are we actually going to go and do all of these different things? When are we going to put it on the calendar? What's the commitment of who's going to go and do what? So point number 8 here, team, is marketing what? Marketing. So can everybody please just grab, there's a big A3 piece of paper just got handed out for you. So this is a 90-day marketing calendar template. This is in the portal where you can get access to it, okay? Now, it's printed out in big A3 print style. So this is a new version of this particular document. You can bulk it out as much as you like. But on the left, it's got marketing strategy. What's the weapon, firstly, that we're going to go off and do? What you're going to use? Next column being who's the responsible human for it. So who's the responsible person, right? Then in the goal, we've now got some stuff in there in the goal, some specific metrics going, what's our targeted spend? So how much are you going to spend on that particular strategy? The second one is, what's your targeted number of customers? You could do this on leads. I've designed this on customers. So based upon your spend and customers, what's your targeted acquisition cost per customer? Once you've done all your heavy lifting, you know what that number needs to be. Then we've got 13 weeks of action plan in there. So you can bulk this out as much as you can in terms of who's going to do what, when, what's the specific activity that's got to be done, when do you have to send stuff out, post stuff, call people, whatever it's going to look like for the whole 13-week quarter. And then over on the right, what's the very right in blue, everybody? What's that say? It's the outcome, which then says, based upon that, at the end of the 90 days, you can go, what did I actually spend? And how many customers did I actually get out of that particular strategy? Right? Where would you get that information to, by the way? Your test and measure sheet. So unless you're doing testing and measuring of your leads and conversion rate, that's a hard one to fill in. So I'm going to encourage you to do that, and then that gives you your actual conversion rate. Down the bottom, it'll do a little sum total for you and give you, well, where did you end up on your conversion rate? Now, by the way, who likes this as a really simple document? Say yeah. Very easy, right? This is the part that I love about this team is I've been using this particular document in a gym that's based down at Murwillumbah for a number of years now, right? We're just bringing it into the EBS community. Is a gym seasonal, yes or no? Do they have winters and summers, right? They 100% do, okay? So literally after doing this for 2-3 years, we now have it set so clearly that we know based upon that series of activities, that's the outcome we're going to get, right? And literally at the start of each quarter, we just go straight over here to the little board and go, which one are we going to plug in there? And we grab it and go, we're going to drop that one in there and that one in there and we know that all those outcomes are going to give us that exact result. It's very, very predictable, right? Who'd like to have predictable lead flow? Okay, very predictable, okay? So you do this consistently for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quarters, suddenly we've got historic data that you can just go, let's drop that level of activity. Now, if you predict something and you don't get the outcome you want, what do we have to do next time on the plan? We've got to change the plan. We've got to change the activities that we're going to go and do. By the way, where would I encourage that you have your 90-day marketing calendar? Up on the wall. I'm highly visual. I love being visual. Okay? Good document, yes or no? Very good. Okay. All right, team, we're getting ready for a break. Before we go to a break, your top take 30 seconds, 60 seconds each. Round the table, what have been your top 2 learnings out of this whole morning piece on marketing? What's been your takeaways? Start with the person with the least amount of hair. Let's go. Top 2, around your table.